Now, welcome back, viewers. Sorry about the little itches out there. This is welcoming you to Light Gist with Mama Helen Oritsejafor today. I am really excited seeing all of you already waiting. I was actually doing my best to see the possibility of us connecting with Instagram, but unfortunately, Instagram viewers will not be able to watch live. Hopefully, by the end of today, we'll be able to later upload it for them to be able to view. So I am excited. This is welcoming you again to Like G Sweet Mama Helen. How are you today? How's the day been, Malibu? I can see you already. I'm excited. I'm excited. Italiano. Awesome. 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 Well, click on the share button, family. Then let us get the ball rolling. It's really, really going to be exciting today. I can't wait to hear our guests who will be coming in a little while to come and speak with us on the need for us to choose the right when it has to do with choosing a life partner. It is very important because who you marry can either make or mar you. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is not knowing what they want or what is best for them or the possibility of choosing the right when it has to do with marriage. And on today's Lap Gist with Merman, we're actually going to be looking at what you need to do, how to know that he or she is the right person for marriage, how to know that he or she is the right person for marriage. Are you ready for that? Now, during the course of this program, it's very interactive. So our viewers are allowed to pump in some questions or make their own recommendations, or should I say, comment as it were, because it's really, really going to be interactive. Again, I am saying, if you're here to get in touch with someone, this is the time to be a blessing, okay? Whether you're married or not, just click on the share button and bring someone in right now so that we can all roll in and be a blessing to one another. I am excited about what is going to happen today. The guest of today is actually ready, so let's see how we can bring her in right away. Right away. I'm seeing two. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. How are you? How are you? How are you?
Hello. Yeah, hello. How are you? Yes.
It's so good to have you on, Mama Ellen, and you today. I am really excited. Are you here in the UK as well?
Yes, I reside in UK.
Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that. That is so awesome. By the way, viewers, the person you're actually looking at right now is no other person than Mrs. Grace Alexandra. Um, she has a long one in terms of profile, but I just want to touch on one or two things. Number one, she's a compassionate advocate for persons living with disabilities here in the UK and in Africa. She has her education at the University of Ife, um, and qualified uh, as a social worker from Metropolitan University London. And she also has, you know, how am I going to put it? I think she has a strong desire for good home. She's married as well, so definitely she has something to tell us today. So, viewers, wherever you are watching around the world, this is again welcoming all of you. This is welcoming all of you to Life Gist with Mama Helen Oritsejafor today. So, okay, Mrs. Grace, let's get to the
Yes. How are
of
you?
I am good. I
Yeah.
am. I am definitely
How are you?
so
Nice to meet you live and direct.
awesome. Can you tell us what is marriage? Let's start with that foremost.
um
It's marriage.
Somebody was telling me now on the right. It's not streaming on Instagram. So I want to tell the person to join on YouTube.
Oh, you two fantastic. Even
Yeah,
you,
YouTube. Yes. Okay.
and I
So I
know.
just said that. So marriage is a union. It's
Yeah.
a union of it's a union of two people, that is a man and a woman.
Yes.
are joined together in holy matrimony or wedlock,
Okay.
either culturally or, and most of the time, often legally. So it's the union of two people, a man and a woman. Yeah, that's the meaning of marriage.
Okay, that's the meaning of marriage. Also, it's a union between a man and a woman. So it's
And a
not
woman.
Adam and Eve.
Yes, not individuals. It has to
Okay,
be a man and a woman.
it has to be a man and a woman.
That's
Awesome. I love.
yes.
I
Yeah.
love. Okay,
Yes.
so what is marriage all about? If marriage is between two people, so what is marriage all about then?
Yeah. Marriage, when the Bible says, I mean, I'm going to, as a Christian, I'm going to base it on the word of God, that a man will leave his father and a woman would, and they come together and they become one flesh. So, meaning that they have to, it's a kind of, the purpose of marriage is a kind of partnership and companionship.
Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I
Yes,
was trying to.
when they, it's about the purpose of marriage. It's about companionship, friendship, and partnership. So those three things.
Companionship, friendship, and partnership.
Partnership.
How
Yes.
do we make these three things operate or function in marriage? How do we ensure that?
Yeah. A lot of things has to be in place because with two people, the man is coming from a different background
Okay.
with different values, with different lifestyle,
That's right.
which will impact on the person's attitude and personality.
Hmm.
And the woman is coming from a different background.
That's
So
right.
you are coming to live together. So it's not, marriage is not it's filled with a lot of challenges because there are
That's right.
no templates for this is how it should be. So
Hmm.
everybody has got their own differences. We are created uniquely. I mean,
Yes.
when the Bible says we are wonderfully and fearfully created, that means
Careful.
we are not, yes, we are not equal. So
That's right.
our personality are different, our interests are different. So a lot of things must come into place
Okay.
when you
What
are
are the,
now choosing a partner, a spouse,
okay.
because
So what
it's
are
supposed to be, marriage is a long term too, is a long
that's right.
term
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah.
That's right. So, what are the things that needs to come to from the man's angle, for example? What are the things that he needs to have to be a good husband? And then, of course, if you're looking at it from a woman's perspective as well, what are the things? What are the qualities expected of a woman?
Yes, one of the things you expect from I mean, as a couple before you even before going to marriage,
Yes.
one of the things is that self awareness, your
Mm,
values, whatever your values,
yeah,
that's very key.
that's right.
Then two, you have to know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
Hmm.
As a human being.
As a
So
human.
the two of them needs to be able to know what are their values, what are their lifestyle, what are their
That's
attitudes. So all those things, when you know yourself, because each individual as a human being, we have our own worth. Just
mhm,
as a man has his own worth, that's how a woman too has his own worth or our own worth.
mhm,
So what's
that's
your worth? So when you know yourself and you know your worth, then
mhm,
are you really matured? What about how do you handle conflicts? Like, do you have that what we call emotional intelligence? Do you
mm,
respond to things? Because we
mm,
are all different. We are
mm.
different. And then people forget to understand this. There are some people who are neurodivergent. What I
Yes.
mean, who are the autistic spectrum.
Hmm.
Because when you have disability, I'm talking about hidden disability
That's
that
right.
can affect the way we behave, the way
That's
we
right.
see things, the way we
Hmm.
perceive things. Because as a
That's
compassionate disability advocate, I
yes.
usually say that people on that spectrum or somebody who is like dyslexic, they might have, because one thing that is common, it doesn't mean they are not smart, it doesn't mean they are not intelligent, it doesn't mean they don't have their own interests, but
Yes.
one thing that lacks is that they have they lack interpersonal skills, and it's because how their brain are wired. So communication is really key. How do that person come across?
Yes.
How do you know the person you want to marry? Do you share his values? A lot of discussion has to come into place before you say this is the person. So you have to be able to, before you say, oh, this is the person I want to marry. You understand? You have
Mhm.
to, there's so many things that have to go. You have to talk about money. Apart from knowing who you are, knowing your
Mhm.
worth, we all demand those values. Means respect is there, responsibility is there, integrity is there. So it's not about that I just want to marry, I want to marry them. And everybody is a work in progress. We learn, unlearn, and relearn. You understand? So,
Mhm.
and there are lots of challenges. How are you going to cope with this person? So do
That's
you share the same values? Do you have the same life? Do you share the same lifestyle? That's very key.
okay.
Do you can you accommodate the person's attitude? That's
Mm.
key. Then one thing we don't actually, when because love should be enough, but in reality love is not enough.
That's not enough.
Love is not enough in reality, because you have to consider so many factors.
So true.
Because when we want to say love should be the basis. Is the love sacrificial?
Mm.
Is that kind of agape love that God gave his only begotten son? Is that love selfless?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you respecting and honoring? That's what the Bible says. Honoring your spouse. Honoring your spouse. Do
Mm.
you have listening skills?
Mm.
Because it's like sometimes some people might listen, they might hear what you are saying, but they are not actually listening.
Really paying attention. They're
Yes,
hearing, but not
yeah,
listening.
yeah, yes. And then they try to ignore.
Mm.
And one of the things is that we need to go back to basics. Basics is a basic. I'm a Christian, and I'm basing what I'm saying according to the word of God. Even
Principle.
in the Bible, people usually quote in Christendom. They say, "Oh, the woman must submit." But at the end of the day, the Bible, if you read it let me just see the passage. Hold on, let me just see the passage that says something about the fact that it's just it's just a chapter before the one they normally call that the woman must submit, but the Bible says submit to one another.
That's right. In the fear of
So
God.
yes, they don't mention that. People don't really mention that submission to one another. Okay, like Ephesians 5:21. That is King James Version.
That's right.
Submitting yourself to one another in the fear of God.
Right.
So it is not that the submission is one-sided.
That's right.
The submission should be reciprocal. And
Mm.
submission does not mean you have to be stupid. The woman must have his own mind. The woman too must have his own mind. Woman must have her own mind. The woman must, but they should respect each other's opinion, because it's a partnership. It's a
Mm.
companionship. It doesn't have to be one-sided. It doesn't have to. But most of these things, we women, we don't put it
But
into
traditional,
practice. We are
I
attracted by
may,
we are
if
attracted
I
by love.
yes, if I may interject,
Yeah.
if I may interject, I mean, traditionally, you have some men saying the women have no say. The, I mean, she doesn't have anything to contribute. As is to just shut up her mouth and sit down. What do you have to say concerning that? By the way, we also have another guest here today that is going to be assisting us to do justice to this to today's topic, and is no other person than Mrs. Jennifer Aruchipa, who a, is Zimbabwean, who resides in Highland, and she also studied, I think, something that relates to mental health and well-being as well. So, welcome to today's Life Gist with Mama Helen as well.
You're welcome, my darling.
Yeah.
Bless you.
So
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, so the question again, I mean, I'm trying to tailor this thing so that we can have a good perspective about what we're trying to communicate, the message we're trying to pass on,
Yeah.
and it has to do with, okay, the man's role as a man, as a husband, and
Mhm.
the woman's role as well. So let's hear from Mrs. Jennifer. What do you have to say concerning that, Miss Jennifer?
About me, as for me, marriage is a companionship, friends, and a trust in between two
Mm,
people who can only rely on each other.
mhm,
And a marriage must be people who can be able to handle conflict
mhm,
and understand each other wherever they're coming from. Doesn't it's only by like on one side, not only like we Africans, our forefathers and my foremothers and grandmothers, they used to oppress that only you have to bow to say yes, yes, what a man says. But now we are living in the modern life just because now marriage is going to be at 50-50, must be equal. It's not on one side that you must always follow a man what he says, you must do what a man says. You must be all able to handle conflict and resolve problems together.
I love that aspect, the ability, but that calls for maturity, isn't it? It means that, just like what she was talking about on the need, okay, on the need for, for you to know yourself and be ready for marriage. If I am not mistaken, I think that was what Mrs. Grace was talking about a while ago, on the
Yeah.
need for to know yourself. So when we talk about maturity, because we're not talking about age now. An 18-year-old man can be behaving like an 18-year-old young teenager, as it were. Okay, so this has nothing to do with age. Now, as a mental health, just a moment, Mrs. Grace, as a mental health officer, how do you wrap your mind around that in terms of maturity?
Maturity must be emotional maturity. Work
Mm-hmm.
on understanding and managing your emotional effectively.
That's right.
Be aware of any unresolved emotional issues and seek professional help if needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Emotional maturity. Okay, I can see the Mrs. Grace can't wait. So jump in, please.
Yes, and one of the things, that's why before you go into marriage, you need to know your the family of your spouse. You need
Hmm.
to know, because some people can come from an angle of trauma. They can come from a dysfunctional family which has really traumatized them, and that
Hmm.
can affect their, because when you have trauma, I'm also
Wait,
a
wait,
trauma
wait.
informed care specialist as well. When you have
Oh, okay.
trauma, it doesn't allow you to explore relationship. You
Hmm.
understand? Because
Yes.
you will have a kind of what I call nervous dysregulation,
Hmm.
emotional dysregulation. Is
Hmm.
either you are living in circle of pain, and you
Hmm.
can be emotionally muted. That is, you don't even talk. You're somebody that is so, they call it reserved. And then sometimes within the relationship, you can be trauma bonding too. Whatever
Hmm.
they say is yes, but inside you, you are not happy. Inside
Hmm.
you, they are disconnected, and that can affect your marriage. So when you see, so those are the things. That's why you have to know your family, the family of your spouse, whether the husband, whether the wife. You have to know them, because some people can. We've seen instances of people who are coming from a traumatic setup, marry another somebody from traumatic setup, and that can have a lot of effects on their health. So
Hmm.
you have to be, and there might be unresolved trauma. Maybe you suppress a lot of anger, you've suppressed a lot of pain, because
Hmm.
they say a woman should not talk. You understand? That's not going to work, because it's going to affect your relationship,
It will.
either directly or indirectly, either
Hmm.
consciously or unconsciously. You bring
That's right.
it, and then you can see a behavior. Maybe it's replica of what you witnessed with your parents, and that can trigger a lot of anger within you. That can trigger a lot of emotional dysregulation within you, and
Yes.
so you have to be understand. And this woman is just so saying yes, yes, and you can find yourself that you are also trauma bonding, which does not
Hmm.
mean capability, because some people might say, they say another, you don't judge a book by its
Book
cover.
by cover.
You don't know what goes in with it. That's why you don't see somebody because they are happy outside and you think, oh, you want this kind of marriage. Be careful of what you wish to yourself because you don't know what is going on the ground. So you have to shine your eyes. Shine your eyes. And one thing is that maturity comes because age does not have anything to do with maturity. Maturity is about how you can handle conflict, how you can handle, how do you acquire that, how do you respond to issues of life. How do you make sure you're able to reduce all the anxieties that go around that issues, all that worry, and when you are struggling, you don't need to be muted. You don't need to trauma respond to any issue. Speak
Okay.
out.
I
Engage your husband
you're really, really
or
ready,
wife.
and if we allow you to go on today, I'm sure we're going to go on to tomorrow. But specifically, I just want us to look at this. Okay, what are the things that you need to have ready, whether as a man or as a woman, before you say yes?
I think you must preparing yourself for a marriage
Mhm.
goes beyond just wedding planning. Here are some of the steps you can take is ensure that are you emotionally, mentally ready for this long term commitment?
Mhm.
Just to find that some people, like what she's saying, that you have to know your family for the husband, your family for the wife. So you must also know him. As a, I think must in as a friend, you must know him before your marriage. Just because some people they pretend, then they will you see their side after the marriage. What other some people they say that love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener.
No, no, that's right.
So when in that marriage, when oh, I've married with spirit, but some people they pretend. So what she's saying that it's true that you must know this family and the husband or the wife's families before that marriage, and you know him very well. Like things would be good
Do a
before.
background check.
If you are dating somebody, I think you must be able to be like a friend to know exactly what a person are you involved with,
Hmm, hmm,
so you
hmm.
can know him or her.
Okay. All right. But I think you're answering the question in a way. I just want to read something from Dr. Abigail Orusa from the US. And she said, treat her as the queen and she will submit to you easy as a king. What do you have to say concerning that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, yes. What then? It's one thing is that if a man gives you value, a woman will give you more, three times that value. And what do I mean by values? Because we need to talk about that for you to find a woman that will submit to you. One of
Okay.
the things is trust.
Hmm,
Hmm.
hmm,
Love comes first before love comes for trust, then honesty,
hmm,
openness. The
hmm,
Bible
hmm.
says the two of you shall be naked and you will not be
Ashamed.
ashamed. Be open. Those are the things you need to know. And don't ignore, there will be red flags.
Red
Don't
flag.
ignore those red flags. Don't think when you get there you will cross it. You get stuck. You will not be able to cross nada. So
Hmm,
what? And don't forget about your intuition. Your intuition will tell you something is not right.
that's right.
Sometimes, as human beings, we tend to overlook those red
That,
flags,
hmm,
and you just when you get there, you get stuck. And one thing about I want to say about another value, integrity. Those are trust, honesty, openness. Because people are human beings are we are very unpredictable.
so true.
So you should know when a man tells you a lie, said, don't worry, it's a mistake. And he's telling you three times, and you are going into marriage with that person. Obviously, you should know that that has been the pattern. And what kind of man are you attracting? What kind of
Hmm.
man are you attracting?
That's the
Marriage
fourth.
is not a fairy tale.
So
It's a
true. So,
reality. And
okay.
one of
Now,
the things, yeah.
there's a question coming out here from some, I want us to be able to address people's concerns today during the course of this program. So there are some questions I'm going to be asking, but I want us to get to attending some of the questions coming up on live stream right now. This is coming from Letitia from South Africa, and she says, "How far can submission go, my mothers? Let's say I have a job as a lawyer, and based on his own reasons, known to him alone, he wakes up and says, 'Stop working and tender in your resignation, because as a wife, you must take up your role in the home full time.' How far can one go with submission?"
Can I interject?
Anyone can jump in.
Okay. One
Let's
thing is, and one thing you have to consider, which is very key, is that how can that person handle your growth? Is that person interested in your career? Those things should be discussed. Because, like, I'm a career woman, I'm not going to stop working. I want to work. I want to be able to earn my income. I'm a woman of worth. You know your worth. So stand before the marriage. Stand for what you stand up for. What you are. What you stand for. Let the person know. I don't want to be. I remember when I was in university. That's almost about 40 something years ago. And this girl was getting on with one man. The man was very rich. The man has passed away now. Was very rich. And the girl was studying law. And she came to me. We were in the same hall. I was in Moremi Hall. She was in Moremi 101. She was in Moremi 122. She called me. She said, I'm going to tell you. I know you will tell me the truth. This man said, I said, well, me personally, I cannot, because the man is rich. I need to earn my money. I want to spend the way I don't want to rely to anybody. Because when a man takes that control over you, he wants to control you. He wants to control your authenticity.
As a person.
Your parents send you to go to university to go and study, not to be a woman that will be in the kitchen. So it's about the man respecting you for who you are and supporting you in your career. That's why anybody that will not support you in your career, don't marry that person. The person will have been giving you an idea that you have to cook my wife food, you will be at home. He will have been giving you the side. I don't care whether he's a millionaire or a trillionaire. I want to earn my money. My money is my own worth, not his money is my worth.
That's right. I love that.
When a man gives you value, the woman will give you value times 3 of that value. Because
I will give you value, because women are multipliers. We know how to multiply. If you give a woman one thing,
it can multiply 10 times. Yes,
10 times over. So if you value her, one, she will multiply by 20, 100, and 1,000, and even more. I think that resonates. That is so powerful. Okay, there's another question coming.
That is, excuse me, can I just jump in? Before your marriage, before this marriage, you must clarify your expectations. Spend time reflecting on your values, goals, and expectations for this marriage. Discuss this with your partner to ensure you are on the same page and have realistic expectations. Just after marriage, you tell you that to stop working. This must be things that you clarify before the marriage.
That's right. At least you should know what it is. Okay, so this is about knowing yourselves. Okay?
Yes.
Knowing
Before the marriage, you must discuss these things. Not after marriage, you say that no, you must sit at home and must cook for me. No.
And another thing I want to inject is that you must discuss about finances. Who is going to bring something in? The Bible says the man is the head of a home. Should be the head of a home. A woman is a support system. When the ships are down, the woman can chip in. But it shouldn't be the role should not be a role reversal. Like the woman should, the woman should be the head. The man must provide shelter and food. I'm not saying the man should be buying clothes. You understand what I mean? But if he can buy clothes, that's additional. You understand? But the main and security, protection. Those
Mhm.
three key things are very important. Even in the Bible, it says a man that not provide for his home is worse than an infidel.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. To a man, how do you know a wife material? To a
Eh?
man, how do you know a wife material?
So what are the expectations of the man? One,
Okay.
because a man wants something, what we want are quite different. What men want, they're different. Somebody wants a woman that will carry the responsibility of the home. They use they can use your weakness, your strength as weakness.
Hmm.
Who is very generous. They can
Hmm.
use that against you. I'm not
That's
saying
true.
all of them. You understand? What I mean is that can be used against you. And
Possible.
then secondly, a man, if you want a wife that wants to totally respect you, you can be a woman. You don't need to teach a woman to be submissive if you are doing the right thing.
Hmm.
A woman will be, it comes naturally because we are very emotional.
So true. Women are.
We are very emotional. So it will come naturally. So the man must be able to honor.
Hmm.
Honor, you must be able to love. And the woman is feeling it. When she's talking, you must be able to listen to her. Then you self, you want something from a woman. You want respect. A man wants respect, but then respect should be reciprocal.
Hmm.
If you don't respect a woman, you cannot respect it, and respect is earned. What are you doing? They want respect, they want submission, but it comes at a price. It comes at that you have to reciprocate, loving them, respecting them, and honoring them.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Splendid. Splendid. You have to love them and you have to show that of the truth. You have value for the woman. But I just want to look at it from this perspective. All right. How do you know that this woman is a wife material? For example, okay, if this woman is a wife material, then she's not going to be too demanding. She's going to be considerate. She's going to, she's not going to be too demanding. What do I mean by being demanding? Here is a young lady you are intending to marry, and then you take her to a eatery, maybe just to have a light refreshment, and she's ordering everything in the menu. No one needs to tell you that this one is going to eat you dry at the end of the day, because you're both supposed to add value each other. Okay, you're both supposed to add value to each other. That is extremely important. And most times, people really don't recognize this, for a man. Okay, now, Miss Jennifer. Miss Jennifer. Okay, I want you to just itemize in a bullet form. What are the things a man should look out for in a woman to be able to say, this woman is a wife material? I've mentioned one.
A man should look this woman who can be able to like choose the right partner which you can trust. Should this person is a mature person, just a person who can trust, best friendship, compassion, someone who can we can respect for the man, and somebody who can be able to who does things not wrong marriages, but who does the right things. You can have the respect of the man, regardless to whatever this man is coming from or background. So the wife must have a respect.
Okay, because to man, love is respect, isn't it?
Yes, and trust.
Okay, and trust. Okay.
Yes.
Would you also want to make any interjections to that?
What I will say is that a man, respect is very, very, is something that they hold so highly. But
It's true.
what I'm asking is that, are you going to reciprocate to that respect? Because you
Mm.
need to honor the woman you are going to marry. So it's not one-sided. It should be
It's not.
reciprocal.
It
You
should be.
understand? You should honor, you should respect, and you should love. And the love I'm talking is not love that is selfish, it's love that is unconditional. It's something that then the two of you must be a committed, it must be called to the goals of the marriage, to the
Mhm.
purpose of the marriage. You are friends, you are partners. That means you are one is MD, one is deputy MD. of a business called marriage. Yeah, it's a form of yes. Almost is a business called marriage because money comes into it. So it is not when the woman asks money, you start getting hypervigilance, or you start giving excuses, or you start masking a lot of things that the woman must not know, or you are not even listening.
All right. So let's play this question, the other way around. To a woman, what are the qualities that you look out for in a man before you say yes?
For me, respect is there. Respect is there. Well, you must respect me. You must honor me. You must honor me. Then you must.
How does she know?
She will know from the way the woman, from the way the man is treating her. She's treating her like a queen. She's not treating her like somebody she just pick on the road. You see, a man that will treat you with dignity.
Some men, you do know, for example, you do know that some men can actually pretend,
But one thing is that that's why I said a woman must shine. That's why I said a woman must shine there. It's not a fairy tale. It's not all the book we read in Cinderella. It is not. But you must be ready. You must be ready, and you must know what you want. Yes. Even though some people pretend, and when the reality comes in when you start living together, but that can be handled. And one of the things that we should not forget to talk about is prayer. We need to pray that as I'm going to this journey, Father, go before me. Let the Holy Spirit go before me. You understand? But one thing is that communication is really key. Communication is key. The two of you must be able to discuss. You must know her, because the reality comes in when you are. Let's forget about the talking now. Now the reality is when the two of you are living together. Now your flaws will start coming out. His own flaws will start coming out. How do you manage? How do you handle those flaws? And one thing is that it's a work in progress. So what kind of communication style does he like? Communication style.
I always say this. If someone is respectful towards you because that person is trying to get something off you, then see the way he treats others.
Yes.
The way he treats others is the best way of knowing if indeed is a man who is ever going to be respectful
but
towards
some people can pretend. They laugh outside, and when they get there, they don't laugh.
Yes, no. What I'm, this is when he's to himself. For example, maybe you are in a restaurant and you see the way he's screaming and shouting on the waiters, because to him they're not going to add value. He's not expecting anything from them. So he can treat them the way he likes. But when he's treating people, that he feels tomorrow maybe they can add value to him, or they can give him money, or one thing or the other, he treats them politely. But when it has to do with someone who is a gate man, or even with the way he treats his mother, okay, she'll also show you. I'm not talking about being a mother's boy now, but I'm talking about at least being very polite,
respectful and polite.
It goes a long way, because these are some of the things that you can actually look out for, in addition to what our guests have said. But I can see that you're trying to say
communication is developed. Communication is effective skills that will help you express your thoughts, feelings, and needs. Learn to actively listen and communicate openly, honest with your partner. Like what you say now, to know your partner, you must know their friends. Then you know the character of your friend. If you know your partner's friends, you can tell the character of your partner.
That's also very good.
Show me your friend, then I can tell you your character. If a man is pretending, if you know the friends, you know exactly what character of a man you are marrying. Then you can know this man is pretending. Just because you see his friends, how they behave, this my partner is pretending. Just because with the friends, they know what kind of a man he is.
And that's and yes, and that's how one thing you want to watch about, especially
Yeah.
when you are going into marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Values, they are very key, which I enumerated. Lifestyle,
The
what kind
life.
of lifestyle? Yes. Then attitude.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those three things are really key to actually, and it's good to talk beforehand. Then one of the things is that challenges, there will be challenges because we are two different human beings that come from different backgrounds, different interests. And one of the things is that how can you now adjust? Patience is very on, it's also key. You must be
Okay.
patient. You must not be quick to judge. And
Mm-hmm.
then you must be able to listen, like what the other woman, other guest said. You must be able to
Yeah.
listen, and then and most men sometimes when they know they are doing wrong, they tend to throw tantrums. They tend to avoid when that thing really hit them. They tend to avoid. But you have to find a,
Gaslighting.
yes,
They start. Yes.
they
They
tend to
start
avoid.
like.
That is called what we call avoidance. And
Mhm.
most of the time, and girls too, they do that. And
That's
men too, they try to mask some of their inadequacies so that you won't know.
true.
You understand? And then
Mhm.
and you start seeing it through their body language. So a woman and a man, they must be discerning.
Hmm.
Yeah, the spirit of discernment comes into play. And then one of the things is that if you use a kind of communication skill that is not workable, try another one. You understand? If the one you've tried is bringing out a lot of fights
Mhm.
or arguments, try another method. You find a balance, because the two of you are, it's not easy. In a marriage is not something that is easy, but it does worth it, and it's enjoyable if
Hmm.
we are able to find the right partner. If you are
If we're able.
able, but don't keep things. The two of them should not keep things. Like I was reading on them, I was reading something on TikTok today, and I find it funny. And they said something like relationships are harder now because conversation are needed to be discussed face to face, become text messages. Arguments become phone calls to other people. Can you see what your friend has done? You
Okay.
understand? Those are
I
the things. Yes.
I yeah.
Feelings become social media updates. They
Okay.
are writing about their marriage and they're putting it on Facebook. That
On social
supposing a man,
media,
you understand.
which
These are
is
something. So yesterday's
which is
fight will ruin today's communication.
if we're not
Yes.
okay. There are some of the, I just want to quickly mention some things here that you might also jump on and look into. Um, some red flags, for example. If someone have extreme views on political, family, religion, work, yeah, that can actually extreme. When you're looking at extreme, for example, if someone says, I've heard it, oh, traditionally, okay, a woman is not supposed to talk, okay, but you're a Christian. If we're talking about the biblical principles, I mean, that there is no place in the Bible where it says a woman does not have a voice, because even when Sarah, okay, was going after her husband over a guy, okay, I mean, Abraham wasn't going to listen to Sarah, but God said to Abraham, listen to your wife. So that means that God actually encourages women, having a voice in their homes. The only thing is, okay, fine. At the end of the day, it is the man that takes decision, all right? But at least that should be a consideration. It should not be taken, it should not be emotional. The man should not be emotional while he's taking the decision, because whatever decision he decides to take will definitely have a ripple effect on the entire family. And that's the reason why men needs to be. So we're looking at extremity now, the things, those red flags. When you notice that the man holy, he takes on the stage and he talks and talks and talks. Every time the woman tries to say something, he has a way of shutting her down. You should know right there that you have a problem. Okay. And then, of course, the number two aspect that I noted here is, and the man does not encourage you to develop your talents and progress. Well, I think we've looked at that before when one of our viewers asked the question about our profession. How can you, I mean, how would a man who says he loves you? I have a niece. Okay, I have a niece. I mean, they live in the US. Okay, I mean, very brilliant, intelligent, smart girl, very, very, and hardworking. She has a goal, and she's very, very, very meticulous, about it. And the young man was interested in a marriage. Now, in her getting married to her, was interested in getting married to her rather. And what played out was what made her to just quickly back out. She found out that the young man was already jealous of her achievement so far. She has 2 degrees, was already jealous, was already very, very nervous about what she has achieved so far. And, she was very quick at spotting it. And then she said, no, there's no, this is a no-go area. She's an engineer, by profession, and she's still climbing the ladder she had just started climbing. Now, for a man, no one needs to tell you that you cannot join your life with such a person, because that person is definitely going to slow you down. If care is not taken, your progress becomes a competition to him.
Mm-hmm.
He sees your progress as a competition.
And especially when the woman is earning more money. That's another thing. Yes.
Money, she's getting a little bit of fame or one thing or another. Oh, she's competing with me. And that becomes a big problem. Okay, but the man sometimes might never even really, really say what the problem is, but he will try to, it will make a big problem out of the fact that the woman is doing well. Another thing, yes, please go on. You can jump in right there. You can jump in.
You must marry somebody with your standards. Just because if you marry somebody who's beyond your standard, that's where the conflict is. That man becomes so jealous.
Yes, please go ahead.
Jealous just because you are progressing, you are getting more money, and even that marriage it won't work just because you must marry somebody with your standard, or we got the same standard.
Yes, encourage one another.
Somebody who has got any more money. If you are a woman, like now these days, we women, we are going above men. We are exploring so many things.
Yes.
Because in the whole world now, women they are doing more things than men. But so make sure that you marry somebody who is on the same level with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, beautiful.
Yeah.
Now let me say this, and then you can interject. Okay. What are your thoughts on this? I was counseling a young couple, who has a good heart. Your young lady now has a beautiful heart. She wants the best for her husband. She wants her husband to be flying and everything. And I said, yes, that's very authentic. I love that. But please, whilst you are growing the man, don't forget yourself.
Yourself, yeah, absolutely.
Come into that, please.
Yeah, it's always good to reciprocate each other's progress and growth. You understand? And it depends on the personality. Some people, they are laid back, they are not conscientious, they like to just sit back and watch their husband grow. If that is what the person likes, so be it. But at the same time, like me, as my husband is growing, I want to grow too.
Exactly. That's the way.
And one thing is that I'm a career woman. I cannot sit down at home. Like I'm raising like for instance, my last son is 28 years old, and he has disability. That's where I am so passionate. And I've run an organization for 10 years. I'm running an organization who is 10 years old now. And that's what I do, because I see that as my purpose. And I'm very passionate about persons with disability. And I've challenged that area. But one of the things I want to say is that I did not sit back.
Don't abandon yourself. I really would not, because you see, the reason why you seem to having a lot of diverse issues. You see a man, you've grown him, he's a commissioner, and yet you have not, you've not developed yourself as a young lady.
As a young lady, it's not
As a
right.
young, you have not developed yourself. The man is not a commissioner, but you're still behaving like a primary school older, you know. So, but then later on you said, oh, but I invested my life into him. But the man now has outgrown you. So how are you? It's so important. I wanted to really look at this issue because it's really, really creating a lot of problems at home. Where a woman feels, I'm not talking about a woman who, as she's developing her husband, she's also developing herself. I'm talking about women who completely let go. Every money they have, they put it on the man. Everything they have, they
That's
put it on.
dangerous. So
So the man keeps growing, but they are still at the same level of life. So 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, the man starts looking for somebody else out there that he
that
feels
matches. Yes.
matches.
But one thing I will say about that is that everybody should embrace growth. We should all
That's
cultivate growth mindsets,
so true.
because at the end of the day, human beings are funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's
The
like
man,
you. It's like you are growing, and the man is sometimes. Then later you might feel that you are just complacent.
yeah,
You're just sitting there. You're not even improving yourself.
the-
So you start feeling very. You start
mhm.
feeling a kind that you want to go to a business meeting. You cannot even take your husband. You
And
understand. But at
mhm.
the end of the day, if you find a husband like that, that from the beginning is somebody that is laid back or something, you can support
Origin,
him, you can
encourage.
encourage, and the same vice versa to the woman, to the man too. You can encourage one another to grow, because the two of you are adding value to yourselves, and you are going to enjoy those value that is being added to yourself, and you have been a good role model to your children.
All right. So we're actually looking at the red flags, trying to look at the red flags, things that should tell you, because you see, when you're at the courtship level, the tendency is there for everyone to be playing out and putting out the best food out there, But there are some red flags, some things we ignore. Okay, a young lady who is presently having a serious challenge now in her home. Okay, told me two things that were red flags that if she had paid attention, perhaps she wouldn't be going through what she's going through right now. Number one, okay, she was in the car with this man driving across a place. Pretty young lady, extremely pretty, intelligent, smart, everything that any man would ever want to go for. But this man was admiring one harlot crossing the road. Now, why did she say because of the way she dressed, on that day. But the man was looking at that, but they were still at courtship. So when she tried talking to the man to say, sweetheart, why there's a glance you can give because you're a human being, but when someone is really, really
Daring.
piercing through his eyes, then you can tell. Of course, he has lost himself at that instance, because that woman crossing the road who had a kind of dressing and all that, he was already lost in after, and so on. And the man just sort of, shot her down. I said, but that was a red flag. Then the second one was, okay, he would rather engage someone else to do something for him, not her. So after marriage, no matter what she does is never good enough. Somebody has to do it. So she said, the greatest challenge here is that even though he sees you as a wife material, but he was still intimidated about you. So he will prefer someone far, junior or lower than standard, to relate with than to relate with you. What do you have to say concerning that?
There's a kind of inferiority complex. The
Inferiority
man
complex.
has a complex issues for whatever, and those can be, but maybe the man has a kind of rejection from the beginning. That's why it's good to know the family, and that might be affecting the way he's responding to a lot of issues around, especially to his wife to be. Those are red flags, because it actually means that the man might not be able to handle growth. the man might not be able to undo a lot of things when they are really married. And the
When
man might want to actually control, because control comes into it, where
yes,
whatever the man does is not good enough. And the woman will start
the woman,
figuring out, what have I done? What have I done? So, and
yes,
that's why I said when I was talking that shine your eyes. When you
shine.
see something that is not, you're not your innate, we have what every individual have innate, has this intuition. Something
Yes.
will tell you something is not right, but we
Mm,
tend to ignore it. It's always good to listen to your instincts, because 100% those instincts are right. So
that's
you
true.
and learn to challenge that.
Mm,
Why do you do this? If you
why
think
do you do
something is wrong, learn to challenge them. It's not a way of disrespecting. How you must guide how you come across
that?
to your spouse, because how you come across can be hard sometimes, but you have to, and it can be a high tone, or it can be in the form of anger or whatever, but how you come across matters. My dear, there's something I witnessed and I am not comfortable about it. What
Mm,
have you got to say about it? You sure you understand?
yes.
And if the man is ignoring it, and he's done it first time, second time, third time,
And it
it's a
keeps doing.
time to take a back seat and
Mm,
let him now reapply. That, you know what, I noticed something that is wrong. No, the man
yeah,
will come. If he really wants her, he will come back. And that
mm,
when he's coming back, that's when you can really address it. That there are
mm,
some things, instances are like this. I don't like it. And you
mm,
have not handled it. So I know I don't want, because if you are not careful, it's a big trauma. It can be very traumatic, especially for a woman.
for a woman.
It can
Mm,
be traumatic for a man, but because when we women love, they love emotionally, they love with their whole body, they,
everything.
everything. And
Everything.
you
The
invest,
pocket,
and that is the hardest part, because it's a long-term investment that is not yielding results. It's not
so,
yielding you love back, it's not yielding you honor back, it's not
mm,
yielding respect back. So it's like you
yeah,
built a house and the house just, it just
yeah.
crumble. And you
Mm,
can see the effect of, and most women that have gone through that, most of them are in mental home. Some of
mm,
them have died of cancer. Some of them have died of so many things. So we need
mm,
to be careful, especially our children, our girls, to say,
Mhm.
shine your eyes. Love is not only enough. Love is good. I'm not saying love can be enough, but these days love is not only enough. Check so many things. Check
mm.
so many things before you go into
Like
it.
Orusa said, Orusa said, women love with all, with all. Women love with all. That's the truth. We love with all. We love with all. Awesome, awesome. Now, I noticed that Miss Jennifer were you trying to jump in at some point?
Because what that guest speaker was saying, that we must shine in, but we mustn't ignore the red flags. Just because
We
if we're in love, people will just overlook those red flags. You must
mm,
ask him there and then before it's too late. Don't ask him after about 2 years or 10 years that I saw you, or after 10 days I saw you, you're looking to this other woman. That's what's being disrespectful. It's no, there and then address that issue and solve the issue. Just because we women sometimes, if we're in love, we intend to just to say, brush it off. No, you must shine
don't back
and
up.
don't.
Oh, I'm going to change. He's going to change after marriage. No, he's not going to change
Nobody has a right to change anybody.
No, no, you
anybody.
cannot change anybody. You can't change anybody. If you can,
That
you
is that's
can change somebody. Well, if you how he is, you cannot change him.
yes, that's the truth.
That's why these things you must discuss before your marriage. And also the other thing before your
A
marriage,
man was caught. A man was caught. Let me throw this in. A man was caught sleeping with his house help. Okay, and instead of being remorseful, the next thing is that even Abraham slept with his house.
you know what what you are talking
Abraham
about.
slept with his house help. I mean, what kind of imagination is that? Please, ladies, jump into this. I mean, it's crazy.
But there
And
will have been red flags, which the woman has ignored. The man will have been showing a lot of signs. Yes, because
And I'm
if I'm going with a woman, if I'm going, if there was one time, let me just chip this in. When I was in the University of Ife, there was this guy who was chasing me, who was just married 6 weeks ago. And he was coming to my room, and he was so quiet. He would drop his head like this when he comes to my he was coming to my room. When he came to my room, he would drop his head. He was so quiet. Even my roommates were saying, this guy that is always very quiet and likes you. I said, like it. So I'm escorting him from my room, I had some people, some of his friends, they were calling him fire.
no fire.
And I asked him, I said, why are they calling you fire? So God. I realized that each time we are passing, because the reception, when we passed out of my hall, there are a lot of crowds, some people talking to their girlfriends, some people, and they start saying fire. I said, I'm not comfortable with that fire. Why are they calling you fire? I did not realize he was just married, but he was infatuated, because some girls cannot distinguish between infatuation and love. She was really infatuated with me. And I asked him, and somebody told me that this guy married 6 weeks ago. And when he came to my room, I said, are you married? He kept quiet. I said, before I whack his face.
6 weeks ago.
Yes. I said, are you married? I asked him, I said, are you married? He said he couldn't say anything. I said, now get out of my room. Get out of my, then fire, nicknames. Watch out for nicknames. People will not know. I'm talking about over 40 years now. I'm talking about over 40 years. People will not even notice that nickname matters. Fire means he's sleeping with girls. Giving them fire. So when they're calling him fire,
so the young lady should ask him, how come, why are they calling you fire?
Exactly. I asked him, I said, why are you calling you fire? What does that suggest? You don't call somebody a man a fire if he's not actually doing the firing.
So there's a connotation to that. Yes.
So you must be little things. Yes. You must be aware of little things, and don't ignore anything that gives you a nudge in your mind. Realize one thing: your choices are your reality.
That's powerful.
What you say that the men was sleeping with the maid.
Yes.
Sometimes I blame the women, not the men.
No.
So that you are married. The maid is the one who cooks, who cleans. You ask the maid, where's Papa's socks, where's Papa's underwears, where's Papa's. Then the man said, okay, why did I marry you? I better marry this one. This is a material woman who knows everything. You're running the house. You are not running the house. You're supposed to say that you're a professional woman. I'm going to work. You don't even look after your husband.
Okay, so what about the gardener and the gatesman? Okay, no. See, I mean, what about the gardener who comes in to do this thing at home? So should the woman then start sleeping with the gardener because the husband is not helping to do that? I think it's below standard. All right, especially if two people, are professionals, or their career. I'm not saying a woman should jettison her role, as a wife. I'm not saying.
And then you should even choose the kind. Why are you getting a girl that his breast is like standing, and the breast is like always? I realized my late mom used to get a house help, and I think my mother realized the kind of husband she had, and what my mom was at when they brought a girl to her, and my mother said, "Look at this one. She's always smiling. She's always." My mother said, "No, I don't want her." That's discernment. So you don't invite a girl that is very young, that when he's sweeping and his breast will be swimming, the man gets eye. They see you, they get eye. The devil will allow them to see what you cannot see. So be careful who you bring into your house.
Okay, well, in any case, I think I think women, we're very trusting by nature.
I'm not really trusting. I'm different.
By nature, you are not really but
I'm not trusting.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
in general, women are trusting, and that's why some things of this nature could happen because under normal circumstances, it should mean that okay, I mean this is a maid. A maid is a maid. Leave the maid alone. All right. The episode of Abraham, Sarah, and Agar is totally different here. It was Sarah, because they were looking for a child. All right. And from every level or at any level, I mean, we can boldly say that that was a wrong move at the end of the day, because the reason why we still have war raging between Israel, and other countries, I don't want to mention name, it's all because of the mistake of Sarah and all that. A woman should play her role, the man should play his role. In fact, during communication, some of these things can easily be ironed out, but there should be self-control. I think that's just what I'm saying here. Not giving excuses for to justify what is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. You know, a cheater is a cheater. Whether the woman gives or she doesn't, a cheater would always be one. A cheat is a cheat. So that's just it. Okay. Now I want to ask this question. What is the difference between wedding and marriage?
Wedding is the actually is creating a home, the union, like I said. Whereas wedding is the ceremony. So you can say
Marriage,
come to my wedding. You can say come to my wedding.
creating a
Come to
home.
my wedding. You can't say come to my marriage.
Yes. So true. So true. So true. Awesome. Okay. At what do you need to check on your genotype and so on? Because you see, sometimes people get married out of love, only for them to discover that they are ASAS. And then before you know it, they start producing SS children that will later cause pain. I've seen some families have been able to survive that anyway, out of love, through prayer and all. In fact, I know one that, of course, they knew about their genotype before they finally went ahead, but they've gone very far in their relationship. In fact, they've already informed the church. But through prayer, God helping them, none of the children came out as SS. But on a general note, okay,
Yeah.
yes, some homes there are 5 children, but 4 of them are SS. So at what point should they consider carrying out a test?
I
I,
think,
I think before the
before marriage, you must know the history, any medical history of your partner. What are you getting into? What is his history, his medical history before you get married?
okay. I will
So,
so okay.
so you can prepare yourself. What are you getting into? Whether you
Hmm.
take it or leave it. That is before marriage.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ah,
Okay, I'm reading something from. Okay, let me take a little pause here. Should you want to call in or you have some questions? I'm trying my best to read what we have on live stream, but should you want to call in, the number to call is actually +234 9156 166290, and it's WhatsApp only. +234 9156 166290. That's the phone to call should you need to make your comments known and you want to call in, or perhaps you need counseling. You can actually call in right now. It's okay to
yeah.
do so. Okay, right.
So can I answer the question? I think yeah, it's necessary to do genotype. It's necessary to do HIV test.
Hmm.
And it's
That's
also
good.
necessary to do blood group. It's very necessary because I was asking one of one like a daughter who has a PhD. She's like a
Yes.
daughter to me, and she was saying the reason why some people has like a death of stillbirth and death of babies in the womb are because of their blood group. And
Yeah.
she really expatiated on this. I would like to read that because I'm not a medical doctor, but
Okay,
she
please.
expatiated so much on that. And she said, there is a blood type that rejects pregnancy. When the blood of an Rh positive fetus gets into the bloodstream of Rh negative woman, her body recognizes the Rh positive is not hers. Her body will try to destroy it by making it anti-Rh antibodies. So these antibodies can cross the placenta and attack the fetal blood cells. So it's always very good to do it.
It's always very good, very good, awesome. Okay, so at what point do you do this?
Before you get married, though. When you get married, you
Yes,
are stopped.
but sometimes you see when there is heavy duty emotional involvement, it's sometimes very difficult for you to be able to back out at
Before the emotion.
So yes, because
before
of
the emotion, before you start, those are the things you need to discuss, because we are in the 21st century. Things are changing fast.
That should come up in your conversation.
Yes, that could be part of the conversation. And
Yes.
so that you don't want to go into it and get stuck. And, and sometimes the reality, I said it once, I said, your choice is your reality.
Your choice is your reality. That's the truth. So true. Okay, let me ask this question. A young lady is saying, all right, I love him. So how do I know he loves me? Miss Jennifer?
How do you know that he loves you? With your engagement, how you talk to each other, how he behaves, how he respects you, how he protects you, how he talks to you.
How he protects you. Awesome.
Yeah.
How he talks to you. Awesome.
Respect, and is he honest, trustworthy? His actions can tell that this person loves me.
Awesome.
Is it a pretender?
Is he a pretender?
Yes.
All right. I wanted to jump in as well. Please go ahead. How do you know this is it for me?
You know. Okay.
Miss Grace.
Yes, there's something inside us. If you don't know, if you are not sure, that means you are not sure. If you're having doubts, you understand, that means something is telling you in your mind that something is not right here. If you are doubting, that's a sign. Then you need to investigate. Every emotion is valid. So, and every emotion is saying something. So you cannot ignore that emotion that is telling you something is not right. So you cannot cover it up. You must investigate it in your own mind first, and you must be able to discern, how it treats you. Because if you are doubting, then obviously something is missing and something is wrong.
Okay, as a believer, can you marry someone who is an unbeliever?
I can't.
I
can't, because one of the things is that I'm a Christian, and there's some things I bring into the relationship. We must be able to pray together. We must be able to pray together. We must be able to pray together, not out of that. It's not like we must be able to pray together. We must be able to seek the face of the Lord. For me, it's essential. Because the Bible says uneven yoke, on whatever. I don't know. Let me just see where it says that about uneven, which I wrote down.
You do not be unequally yoked.
Yoke with
with
will not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. So, and one of the things is that when you have children, it can be confusing. You understand? I'm not condemning any religion, but I think
Esther says
with your own religion is okay.
In faith. That's also that's so true. You must be evenly yoked with faith. Now, if there are questions that you want us to attend to, please don't hesitate to do so during the course of this. I wouldn't know if Miss Jennifer has something to. Oh, are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that if you're not a believer, you cannot marry. If you are a believer, you marry somebody who's not a believer just because there's a time you need to pray. If that person is not a believer, how come it just because these marriages and this partnership, you need to have time for you with your Lord. You need to sit to kneel down and pray. So if that person is not a believer, how can you convince that, oh, this time for our prayers, or we've got this problem. There are some problems which cannot solve it, but it needs only Lord. It needs prayers.
Okay.
Or
Also, all right.
so
I have a question here coming in from Sonia, and she says, "Hello, Mama, watching live. I would love to know what to do if your parents insist that you must not get married to your fiancé. Reasons being that he is not financially buoyant." Can jump in. Anyone can jump.
Yeah. Anyway, one thing is that there's so many factors why that has contributed to a man not being financially buoyant.
Okay.
Is the man lazy? One is the person that will ask that question. Is the man lazy? Is the man ambitious? Like, is he somebody who wants to progress?
Who
Is
wants to
this
make
somebody that is very has a growth mindset? Is
Mhm.
this somebody that is very who is eager to work and bring something onto the table? Because if it's not, because a lot of things can happen if it's not financial, it might not be his own fault for not being financially buoyant,
Maybe
but
he just graduated a year or two and still
or
trying.
two. And exactly. So one of the things is that is either because when you get into marriage, money is very crucial. So you can't say let's marry first. Let's be using your income as a wife. A wife supposed to be a support person. So the two of you need to actually deal with that. What do you want to do? Ask question. What next? Okay, what do you want to contribute into the home?
Hmm. Hmm.
And some people, they are not being intimidated by the woman earning more than them. But some people can have ambition and they want to able to do, but maybe he's not getting. But how far is the man going? How far is he going to make sure that he's able to provide for his home? What effort is the man making?
Is the man
So those
making?
are the questions
Okay.
the woman need to
If I
ask.
can interject, I mean, and she's Miss Grace is so, I mean, she's so on point. But there are one or two things that I would just need to, to throw in that in support of what she's saying. Now, number one, okay, money does not determine relationship. But I think what she's trying to convey here is that if the man is not doing anything, then it's a red flag. If he has a job or a certificate and you can tell that he's a go-getter, then it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
But
Yeah,
at
that's what I'm
least
saying.
he should have a room, not living with his family, his dad and mom. He should have a room, a house, even if it's a one-bedroom apartment that he can call his own. It's very, very important. That shows his level of responsibility. And during conversation and all, you'll be able to, you can attest, you can tell that he has something to offer. It's just that he doesn't have it now. But later on, definitely he will be able to come through for both of you. So this is very important. I'm not talking about a man showing up with a limousine and then you think that's the man that is marriageable. No, no, no. That's being materialistic. Okay, that's being materialistic. And he might be able to throw money at you, but what about character? What about him protecting you when it is necessary? What about him being there for you? What about commitment? Okay, because commitment is key in a relationship. Marriage without commitment is a waste of time, and it has to come from both parties. One party cannot be committed and the other person feels he has, he or she has a leverage to do whatever he or she feels to do. No, it's an equal commitment from both sides. It's very, very important. So money isn't everything, but at least the man must show prospect. I hope, Sonia, you have been able to get something from that. There has to be prospect. And so if your parents are saying no, being buoyant, is it that they expect more? They want him to have a car, they want him to have millions in his account. Okay, then that might not really be the best thing that is not right. And if that seems to be what the problem is, then I think you should approach someone in the family that you will probably listen to, who is very reasonable and can understand what it means for two people to grow together, and that should be resolved. If that is still not, making it for you, then approach a pastor that might be able to also come through for you as well. At the end of the day, that's very important. If there are other questions, we're still open. But just in case, I don't know, we seem to be having a blackout coming from Mrs. Grace Alexander. I hope she'll
Yes.
join us later. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, but that's fine.
Okay, what's the question? What's the question again? Sorry, I've gone to do something with my son. Yeah, what's the question?
Okay, the question, we're actually rounding up now. We just have maybe 7 minutes, minutes more. And the question is, what if you're to advise?
Okay. Oh God, I have a lot of things.
Okay, if you're to advise a young lady or a man who is probably in a relationship or is still praying and hoping for one, how to choose best? Quickly run.
One of the advice is that there is no perfect marriage. We are all work in progress. We learn, we relearn, we unlearn. And that can transform our marriage positively.
Beautiful.
1, prayer, patience. Avoid peer pressure, because you're married, but your friend is married. Then you too, you want to rush into marriage, or because you think you are older, you are getting old, forget her. So distinguish between real and fairy tale. Not all that glitters is gold.
That's right.
So not all that glitter is gold. Don't judge the book. If the book is shiny, don't judge it by the cover. No, then growth, marriage is growth in progress. So there is always, marriage grows. You understand? Then remember your humble beginnings. In a marriage, humble beginnings brings a lasting respect as well. You don't, because you mentioned something that because somebody is driving a limousine, somebody is driving whatever, just appreciate your humble beginnings. There will be challenges, but don't be overwhelmed with fear.
That's right.
It can always be dealt with. So don't think because something you see your friends, their marriage has broken up or whatever, and then the next thing is that you are afraid, I'm not going to. There any relationship, not even marriage, you can be friends with your friends, you can have any relationship there can be, and deal with anything that is causing stresses, that is trigger a kind of trauma inside you. Mind is a powerful, useful tool. But whatever you put in your mind affects your emotions, affect your thoughts, affect your feelings. So guide what you put into your brain. In our brain, the brain is has what we call neuroplasticity. It depends on what you harbor in your mind. That translates into your emotions. And when your emotions, either good or bad, affect your actions. So what emotion are you cultivating? You should guide against that. Yeah, exactly. And then we should be careful. So life is full of challenges. Life is not fair to anybody, but we can always work and achieve the best results.
Thank you so very much indeed. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. Miss Jennifer.
Also, when you choose your partner for life, you might choose the person who you trust, who is your best friend, companion. Because without all these things, there's no strong marriage. Somebody who can protect you, who can provide you. Somebody's got their dreams and ambitions.
Someone with dreams and ambition. Awesome, awesome. Ladies, you have been incredible tonight. We can just turn you on and till tomorrow we can go on. But we have to round up. I want to use this opportunity in appreciating all of you tonight. Let me start my appreciation. My appreciation goes to Mrs. Grace Alexander. Thank you so very much for your thoughts tonight. It has been incredible. We've enjoyed you. And then, of course, Mrs. Jennifer Haruchipa, thank you so very much for being here today. You have really added value to today's show, and we are really, really, really grateful. Now, you've heard from our guests. They've spoken to us on the need for us to know whom you're intending to marry. Because you see, marriage, they said, is an eye opener. All right. If you do not know him, how would you know the things that you need to possibly have as a check before you finally say yes? Know your partner, whether he's a man or a woman. Know your partner. And that can only happen through conversation. Engage each other, ask questions. Never mind, find out and be very, very observant. See the way he treats people or she treats people around him or her. It's very, very key in knowing who you're dealing with. Know is, how is it's temperamental. I mean, if it's temperamental or no, know that it's very, very important. Okay, be sure that he's trusting. Can you depend on him? Can you depend on her? It's extremely important because you see, if you pour your heart out to an individual and it's not reciprocated, it can be very, very painful. I don't say maybe tomorrow he might change. No, find out the way he treats situations around you should be able to tell you if this person is actually trusting. Is he reliable? Can you rely on him? Okay, because in marriage things would happen. If he's not reliable, he's going to throw you under the bus at the end of the day. Maybe he's probably going to think about saving himself first before considering you. But your partner should be able to stand in there for you through thick and rain. It's important. For a woman loves to see herself in the future of the man whom she's intending to get married to. What marriage is not a 1 year or 2 year thing. It's supposed to be forever. And if you cannot see yourself in the future with that man, then you probably need to have a rethink. Then commitment is both ways. It's not just from one part. Commitment has to be both ways. You have to see that he or she is committed to to your beliefs. And when we're looking at we're talking about your faith in Christ. Okay, commitment in terms of relationship. Is the person a cheat? Is she a cheat or something? Or are you totally sold out to each other? That is, you want to be sure. And if there are red flags, there are some red flags you need to look out for. How extreme, views of political front, family, religious, what appears, could be, does it encourage you to develop your talents and progress? It's very important. He or she, you are both partners in this, and you need growth. You both need growth. So that is extremely important. Does it encourage you to have your own interests, your own life, or everything just it's all around him on earth? You don't have a life of your own. Those things are very terrible. Does it allow you to spend time with your friends and even family? Or is he jealous when anytime you want to go out to have something to do with your friends or whatever, that becomes a problem to him or her? That is a challenge already. That can become a problem. Does it take interest in other people above you? Or he or she, that's it. Does he exhibit behaviors that suggest that the world revolves around him or her alone? The lists are endless. Is it verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive towards you? I've seen some women, a man who is not married to you yet, is already giving you a dirty slap, and you feel that it's coming out of love. Sweetheart, tomorrow it's going to be worse by the time you move in. So you need to see that. If it's someone that exhibits emotional outbursts at a little provocation, you can almost tell that you will not have a voice in that home. He's going to be so controlling that you will never be able to do anything at all. Then the other aspect to this is, is he how does he treat the same sex and the opposite sex? Okay, How does it treat the same sex and the opposite sex? Because you see, some people get married today, as a cover. The man might love the same sex, the woman might love the same sex, but just need someone that will come in as a wife or as a husband. That person is going to keep you miserable. I've had somebody say, "Oh, okay, man, you don't have to check that. Do you need to have do you need to unwrap the banana? Okay, just to know if it's good in bed or not." And I'm saying it's a no. As a child of God, keep yourself until marriage. However, during conversation and many other things, you can actually tell where his heart is. If it's a man that is very comfortable with the same sex or woman, or it's someone that is comfortable with the opposite sex. So that you don't marry someone who is gay and then later on in marriage cannot really perform the conjugal rights that it's expected. Does the person promise to change after wedding? See, that's a red flag in itself. If someone is telling you, okay, when after wedding I'm going to change, that person does not love you. You don't need that at all. Okay, so on Mama Helen and you today, I know I have to sign off. Time is gone. Some of us have already even started signing off. Okay, I love you. We all love you, and we only wish that you'll be able to pick a right when it has to do with your life partner. Okay, see you some other time on Life Gists with Mama. And then, of course, later on, towards the end of the month, we'll be coming on with Mama Helen and you. So watch out for that. If you're just joining it, please remember, Command the Day is on Monday. Make it a date with us. We love you. A big hug from us to you. God bless you. Thank you, guests. You've been fantastic. Thanks for being here today. Okay. God bless you. Bye-bye. And please don't go. I'll be with you in a moment. I just want to sign off officially.